there is where I first started doing work on appellate briefs. They learned I was a pretty strong writer and good at legal research, and so they had me researching appellate issues from intellectual property, banking and business law, personal injury, which was their bailiwick, and that's where I discovered that I really wanted to go more into family law. When I left law school, I also left a long-term engagement, and I took some time off, and I flew to New York City. I stayed at the city. And I spent a year there doing non-law things. I worked for a chiropractor who worked with famous people in the entertainment industry, and I really had a great time meeting famous people. In my spare time, I worked with Susie and her employer, Roberta Black. She's still with. In fact, she just came back from a week in Melbourne working with Black, and she's just a little jet lagged at the moment, I can tell you. So what do I do? And I was a production assistant in New York City, the Waldorf Astoria, the Apollo Theater, all sorts of different venues, and it was a really fun year. It was got a little perspective on my desire to be a lawyer, and recharged my batteries that year. Grateful that she made it this way. I arrived back in Massachusetts during the summer of 1990, and I sat going past the bar exam that July. Law jobs were sort of scarce that year. The recession was pretty strong, not as strong as this one, but it was a rather tough economic times. And so my friend Doreen, who's sitting right here, who's also an attorney, she suggested that maybe I would want to look into juvenile court. So I took the training through the Committee for Public Counsel Services, and I started my law practice. I was on delinquencies, chins matters, parent protection matters, and I spent those first 5 years of practice very much in juvenile court, but also doing some cases in probate court, district court. I did some employment hearings for unemployment issues. Did guardian ad litem work for the probate court. I worked as a lawyer of the day. Had a lot of pro bono clients in those first years. And after about 5 years in practice, I was asked by, I learned that the Committee for Public Counsel Services was starting a pilot program called the Children and Family Law Project in Springfield. So I applied for it and became an attorney there for about a year. And then the Department of Social Services, the opposite side of the fence, approached me and said, would you like to come on board as an assistant regional counsel? Which I was flattered, and I said, I think I can do some good work at the department as well. There are two ways of trying a case when you represent the Department of Social Services. You can either really litigate it, or you can try to work cooperatively to get the department to move in a direction that's centered towards family. And that was always my take on the case, is that if there was a way to keep a family together, then it was my job to help that process along. And if that was not an option, then of course it was my job to litigate the case and move it in that direction. But because I had been a defense attorney for so many years, I felt like I had a good perspective on how you could move things toward resolution when possible. In 2000, Greg and I received an amazing blessing. Yes, when we got policies. And I just want to say that being a parent to such unique and wonderful boys has really deepened my understanding of the issues that people who come through the juvenile court face every day. Educational needs, medical needs, developmental issues. And now we have our youngest son Sam since 2007, so he keeps busy while we're very busy being an older brother. Within my community in Wilbraham, I play an active role as a working mother can and school functions, fundraising, and sports activities. I'm a member of the Minnesota Regional High School Building Committee. We're working with community members and state regulators to plan and build a new high school for the community. I think Mr. Fred would agree that it is. I began my work as an assistant clerk magistrate in Hampden County Juvenile Court in 2001. And in this role, I've had the privilege of working on a number of projects that impact the policies and procedures in juvenile courts throughout Massachusetts. I played an instrumental role in developing paternity procedures in the juvenile court. In the old days, we used to sign a few pieces of paper in a care and protection case and call that a paternity adjudication. We later realized that, the juvenile court realized that it's probably a good idea to treat paternity actions with more formality, and we created a separate case type, and there was a long adjustment period to train people on how paternity was going to be established. in juvenile court cases and what the legal standards were and documentary requirements. And so I helped create those procedures and did some trainings in 2000 and 2001 statewide to get juvenile court personnel up to speed on that process. In 2005, I brought the juvenile court's perspective to an initiative called Working with Families Right from the Start. It was a year-long series of think tank meetings with the Department of Social Services to try to get them to become more user-friendly and revamp their model for services. They wanted to have more input from their clients about how they were doing, and so it was an effort to pull the community in. And a lot of judges and doctors and law enforcement and all sorts of folks were involved in those meetings. And in 2007, we started the Juvenile Mediation and Advocacy Project in Springfield. I worked with the Bar Association to craft a program, and they obtained grant money to do that. And it's for unrepresented litigants in disruptive guardianship proceedings. The world has gone through a cycle in juvenile court for years, and we didn't really see too many guardianship proceedings. Then a lot of the probate court work started coming to juvenile court, and we started hearing guardianships more and more in conjunction with juvenile court proceedings, and a lot of disruptions occur as time goes by and children get older and parents recover, and they come in and they want their children back. And so there were no attorneys, no one willing to assist the probate litigants, the guardian, or the children, or the parents. So the Mediation Advocacy Project assigns mediators for those cases that can be mediated, and advocates for children when they can. It really does assist the court in processing the cases, and it's trying to move things along to a quick resolution. When you have families with no lawyers to guide them through the process, it can get pretty frustrating, pretty hard for them. So I'm proud to have been a part of that. After so many years of working as a litigator, when I became an assistant clerk magistrate, I really found out a lot of things about the legal process that I never contemplated as a lawyer. I admire the sheer effort and drive of court personnel who deal with the situations that come before the court every day. I'm proud to call myself one of them, where I am able to take someone who's very upset coming into the court, who maybe is a victim of a crime, or maybe it's just had a child removed from their care, and they're just in panic, and they need to know that there's somebody there who knows what they're going through, who knows the process, who can sort of calm them down and let them know that they will be heard, that they will have a chance to have their side of things told, and that the court will work for them. And I really have been privileged to work as an assistant clerk magistrate and be able to impart that face-to-face to people when they come before the court. You've heard that I possess legal knowledge and that I have a good temperament, and that I know some of the challenges that are faced in the juvenile court. But I also want to say that I'm aware of how very, very difficult, sometimes excruciatingly difficult, the decisions that juvenile court judges need to make. I've talked with many of them through the years as they balance the rights and responsibilities of different parties. And I really do feel that I'm up to the challenge. I've thought deeply about many of the issues that come before the court, and if I am fortunate enough to receive your confirmation, I plan to uphold the law and the spirit of the law for everyone who comes before the juvenile court. So with that, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Great witnesses, very nice to hear from them all, very sincere, very consistent testimony. I hope you like to hear from different backgrounds, very helpful. As we chatted, obviously your resume is quite full and encompasses a lot of the steps that I've led you here today, very consistent. So that's what I like to see, and I like to see someone from the district also being placed within the district. I think that's community benefit.